Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the No Vacancy podcast live from AAHOACON24. I'm so excited to be the official podcast of AAHOACON, celebrating this incredible community. And you know, it's got me thinking, and I'll bring our friend Seema in here in a second. It's got me thinking this is such a great environment because of the cultural elements. And I have Seema Jain here. She's with Seva Global. She focuses on cultural competency. And Seva, sitting here with this group of people, I love Indian culture, but I think I love Indian culture, and it occurs to me, I like the food, I like the people I hang out with, I like some of the clothing and all of that, but I don't know if I really understand the culture. So I know that this is kind of what you focus on, helping people understand culture. Where do you think we are in the hospitality business of understanding other folks' cultures?
Actually, Glenn, first of all, thank you for having me here today. Super excited to talk about a topic that I'm so passionate about. But it's interesting. I think in the last 5 to 10 years, we are getting better.
Right.
But we're never going to be perfect, and we're always striving to improve. Definitely compared to other industries that I work with, hospitality is excelling. Mm-hmm. We have guests that come in from all walks of life, right? We have our Brazilian guests, our German guests, our Japanese guests. And it's our duty to make sure we welcome them all the way they want to be treated, the way we should respect them. So I think we've done a great job. Mm-hmm. Some companies are doing better, some are learning, and they will all get there in their own time. But there's always room to improve.
Right. I remember like one of the first connections I had was a semi-understanding of cultural competency is many years ago, I went to the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. Okay. And apparently a lot of Japanese people love doing that. So in the hotels I was in, they had Japanese TV and they had Japanese breakfast. And that blew me away for not being in Hawaii.
There you go. Absolutely. And that is something we work with our hotels, that if you're having guests of a different background, right. Think of this, Glenn, when you go to another country and maybe you enjoy the cuisine, but after some time you might want your own, right? Yep. You want your bacon, you want your eggs, you want your oatmeal, you want something. So when those guests...
Thank you for representing bacon.
You got it. Absolutely. Think about a guest coming here. Yep. Even though they enjoy maybe some of the American food, right. They might like their own comfort foods. Yep. So we do work with hotels to say, what can we do in the rooms? What can we do with F&B? What can we do with housekeeping? What can we do with front desk to make sure every department is set up for success?
Right. So that's right. So I think the first step in understanding cultural competency is understanding that we don't really understand cultural competency. Because I think, and it gets back to what I was saying earlier, I think in society we have the greatest hits of cultures, right? So it creates a perception, particularly here in the United States, that because we've seen the greatest hits, we boil down cultures to their basest level, right? Mexico is all about tacos, even though it's not really that sort of a thing, right?
And I'm so sorry. This fell.
That's all right. You can also clip it.
Oh, we can just clip it. Let's just clip it. Sorry. You will have to edit now.
That's all right.
My apologies. Is that going to work?
Yep.
Is that okay? Okay. Sorry about that.
Start again.
Let's start that again.
It's all good. So, you know, one of the things I've noticed is it's kind of like a hit list of different, top things that we think about with cultures. And that kind of creates the atmosphere where we think we understand a culture, but don't really understand a culture, right?
That is correct.
Like I've had in my life many times where people just assume because I happen to be of Jewish heritage that I won't eat bacon. And I was just celebrating bacon a moment ago. So that's like a little thing, but there's a lot of things in different cultures that if you do the wrong thing, not only are you going to lose that guest, but you might offend them as well.
Correct. 100%. So a couple of things on that topic is when we're looking at cultures, and I will tell you right now, you're going to make a mistake.
Right.
We're all going to make a mistake.
My whole career's been a mistake. I get it.
Here's the truth, Glenn.
Yeah.
We have to accept that it's better to make the effort to be intentionally genuine and ask questions. And yes, there's going to be 5% that might get irritated, but then you apologize and you move on.
Right.
Don't think too hard about the whole thing. Actually, that's one of my posts coming up soon, because that's what I think people get afraid of. We walk on eggshells in this country. We're so afraid. We tiptoe on everything. But if you ask with a genuine heart, 95% of the people are receptive.
And I'll tell you, right, that tiptoeing thing, I think, would probably cause you more problems than just being straight up and honest. And I was just speaking to some people about being authentic, right? And if you could be authentic, then what you're really able to do is connect better on an emotional level with the guests and create much more leeway with them. So if you don't quite understand their culture, they're going to be in a position where they're going to want to teach you.
That's right. People love talking about their culture.
Yeah.
Right? And if you show it...
I could do 20 minutes on matzo balls.
Hey, Passover's coming up pretty soon.
I know.
I'm going to come over and celebrate with you. But the thing is, when you think about it, cultures is something that if you show genuine interest with somebody, they're going to be so opening and receptive.
Right.
When we're building relationships with our clients or our vendors or the owners, like you have 5,000 Indian hoteliers here, right? And understanding their culture goes so far and makes them feel good, right? So it's understanding similarities, respecting differences, but people can read that. Do you have a dog? Do you have any animals?
I do have animals. I have 4 cats.
You have 4 cats. Okay. Well, cats may not be as receptive, but I really might.
I've trained my cats very well.
You have? Okay.
I trained them to ignore me.
Think about somebody. A dog understands or a cat understands when there's true affection from a person.
True.
Humans are no different.
No. Yeah.
Right? If you're going to be, kind of not or organically, authentically asking with your genuine heart, I'm going to sense that.
Hey, listen, as long as the guests aren't asking for cuddle time like Mr. Mittens at night, I think they're going to be okay.
Then you're okay. Then you're okay. Absolutely. But cultures is very interesting. It's something that it's not rocket science.
Right.
It is a genuine interest you want to have with the guest or with the owner or anything. And people know that. People can sense that and they're going to respond to it. It's like I said, if you're empathetic, authentic, respectful, treat people the way they want, and most importantly, Glenn, staying humble.
Yeah.
Humility runs across all cultures.
Well, that's just genuine, great life advice.
Yes, it is.
Right there.
Those are the 5 things I shared. They're called earth, empathy, authenticity, respect, treat others the way they want to be treated, and humility. And if you remember that acronym, you're going to be fine.
I love that. Basic civility.
There you go.
And curiosity.
That's right.
I think curiosity is an important trait to have as well when it comes to these kinds of things. So it adds to that genuineness and makes you want to connect better with people. So let me ask you this then, Seema. I'm sitting here right now with you at the AAHOACON, and it's celebrating Asian Americans who have done so well in the hotel business. Well, most of the vendors in there are not part of the Asian American Indian community.
That is correct.
And I see a lot of times that they don't really understand each other. It's kind of like we're running on parallel tracks without a lot of real crossover.
Correct.
So what are a couple of things that maybe the folks that are in there could understand better to have better relationships with this awesome community?
Absolutely. So one thing is, when in our company, we do an India 101 workshop, right? One thing I've learned, Glenn, is people in our country want to hear click note versions of everything. They want to rush. We are the hurried American, and we want everything fast.
Right.
It doesn't work that way with people. We have to understand.
But America.
But it doesn't work. You have to understand the core values of any culture. And in our culture of Indian, there's 4 core values. Hospitality is key. Family is key. Food, as you know, is very important. And relationships.
Yep.
And when you dive into those 4 core values and take time to understand them, you're going to do great as a trade show exhibit.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want people to start with the kindergarten level and build their way up rather than trying to jump into a high school.
That's and that is kind of the philosophy that I look at in life in general, where instead of taking everything where it seems so much and so massive, like you're never going to understand it, break it down. Learn one thing, understand that, incorporate it, and then add something else to it. And I think you just spoke to that kind of philosophy right there.
Absolutely. And any of our curriculums that we do, any of our workshops, it's always about understanding the basics.
Go ahead.
When I do Judaism, it's understanding a little bit about the religion before you understand how to do Avar and Bar Mitzvah, right? You have to understand the cores of everything in order to be successful.
But then it gets a little bit more challenging because I'm non-religious, Jew, right? So there's a lot of different flavors of my types of people.
Of course.
So not only do you have to have an understanding generally, you have to understand some of the different segments within that culture and how it would apply to what you're doing at your hotel.
Absolutely. And when we do these sessions, it's all about generalization. Right. I can't hear reform, somebody's conservative, somebody's orthodox. We have to understand that. But we have to understand that people may not even fall into those perfect, boxes. But the goal is to give you some generalization so that you can avoid the stereotypes.
Right. I agree. And I do think that generalizations have been demonized a little bit in our society, but it is really a shortcut to understanding in some sort of terms a group. And then you can get more intimately with understanding with the knowledge as well.
Absolutely.
So Seema, how can I get promoted to cousin in the Asian American community?
The highest kudos you can ever get then is when somebody invites you to their home for a meal, right?
Yep.
So building that relationship means this is one thing very interesting about American culture and Indian culture. We're transactional.
Right.
We want to just cut to the chase. We want to just, hey, let's make the contract, let's sign it. But other cultures, Indian, Asian cultures, Middle Eastern, Latin America, they want to know a little bit more about who's your family.
Right.
Build trust.
I think Japanese culture is all about bonding and creating relationships. And if you ask for business, then you won't get it right up front.
Correct. They got to know they trust you first.
Right.
When you schedule lunches, like when I schedule a lunch with a Brazilian client, I put 3 hours.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I got to build that time for them to trust me in order we proceed to any business talk at all.
Right.
So that's one thing. If you're going to go in there, spend time with people and get to know them for who they are as an individual rather than just cutting to the chase about the business.
And by getting to know them as an individual, that will start to reveal some of those cultural nuances that then you could add to your general understanding of how different people work.
Absolutely. One day I'm going to hopefully bring to AAHOA a vendor option where vendors can take this session and learn about the attendees.
Yeah.
So they're set up for success, right? What are the best ways to engage them at your booth, right? What are the tips you can do?
Right.
So hopefully at some point we'll get to that.
Right. And I know we've been talking about different types of global cultures, but before we go, I do want to say, even here in the United States, there's so many different cultures that you need to be competent on. You talked about doing, business and getting transactional. As a New Yorker, I've been accused of time and time again of being direct, right? Because like just saying it like it is.
Yes.
Right. So I think it's really funny that maybe they're not sensitive to the fact that I'm just trying to get things done, and I'm not sensitive to the fact that maybe if you're from a different state from me in a different part of the country, you do things a little bit differently.
Well, think about it. We live in this country, and there's like 6 different subcultures, right?
Yeah.
The Western, you've got the Southern.
Like the size of Europe, but how many different cultures are there?
Absolutely. And what's interesting is even looking at the different cultures here, I'll share a funny story with you. My cousins come from India. And they'll be, we'll think they have accents, right? They have accents and we can't understand them. They'll come to me and they're like, why do you guys have accents, right? We're the ones with
Of course.
According to the world.
Yeah.
And our accent isn't even well enunciated. We don't speak clearly. We're very fast. So they have a hard time understanding us.
Right.
But we always think the rest of the world has the accent.
Hey, that's the beauty of being American.
That's our ethnocentric self, and I love it. That's who we are.
Seema, how can we learn more about Seva Global?
So you can absolutely go on our website, learn more, reach out to me. I'm on WhatsApp, text, email, whatever. And I'd love to share with people, really, Glenn, just that this service exists.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't even know because I'm the only one doing in hospitality. And if there is someone else, I would welcome to collaborate with them. But it is something that we need as our landscape is changing in this country.
Yep.
Our travel is coming in from international. When you go,
Thank goodness.
I know, right? We're getting that back, thank goodness. But it's interesting because people in different countries are used to Americans' travel.
That's right.
But we're getting used to them coming here and learning the different cultures.
Yeah.
So absolutely reach out, even if you just want a conversation or networking. I just want people to know, and when they're ready, then we'll work with them.
All right.
We'll work with them.
First step is to being aware. The second step is make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the No Vacancy News podcast. Text 66866. Use the word hotel. That's hotel to 66866. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's the incredible Seema Jain. We're live at AAHOACON24. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.